Hey, what is up you guys? Welcome back to my channel or to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Ivy and today we are going to be filming one of my favorite videos to film, and this is my monthly TBR where the TBR jar picks our read, or TBR prompt pick our reads. If you're just interested in my TBR, I always have time stamps in my description box so you can just kind of skip around. I love to yap and I love to do like little housekeeping things, so if you're interested in that you can keep watching. As you can see, we have a much different setup than last month's TBR. I just wasn't the biggest fan that you guys really couldn't see the books that I was picking from. Unfortunately, I feel like this is not a ton better because I do have a whole other shelf right here that you guys can't see. Let me see if you guys can see, like if I can move so you guys can see this third shelf a little bit better. Okay, you guys can just see me quite a bit better as well. But I do feel like you can kind of see the shelf a little bit better as well. I just like personally, when I'm watching TBR videos, I really like to be able to look at the books that they're picking from. I feel like it's always fun to like see in the comments like what people would have thought of for other prompts that maybe like the person in the video didn't think of. I just really enjoy being able to see the books, and obviously with my big bookshelf you guys just couldn't really see any of that. So this is what we're gonna try this month. I'll insert a little picture of what I have down here right here so you guys at least have an idea of what I'm picking from, and then maybe next month if we kind of like this setup, I'll just not put any books in this fourth row. This is not my entire TBR. You guys know my TBR is insane and I really need to work on it. So what I basically did is just went through my books, picked out all of like my spring books. The only spring book that isn't on here is Anne of Green Gables, and that's just because like the edition that I have is pretty, so it's like up on my mantle. But I just went through and picked some books that are like on my radar that I'm super interested in getting to soon. I do have more books on my TBR. I think that's all I wanted to say about the setup. Let's talk about February's TBR and how we did. Should I take off this sweatshirt? I feel like it's making me look enormous. I kind of wanted to wear purple just for like the vibes, but I think I'm honestly gonna take it off because like I can see myself in the viewfinder and I'm just really not loving how it looks. Okay, I think unfortunately maybe when you're this pregnant, you just like don't love the way anything looks, but I think this is just gonna have to like do for now. So let's jump into how we did on our February TBR. Honestly guys, I did really bad. I did really bad. February, I just think that I really discovered that a lot of the books that I have, I just don't have an interest in reading anymore. I kind of took like a year off from reading. I still read when I was in nursing school, but not at the volume that I was. And I just think I lost some time where those books would have been like good picks for me. And now they just don't feel like they are. And I feel like in January, I kind of forced myself to get some books off of my TBR, which is good. Like I wanted to read those books before I got rid of them. I did unhaul most of the books that I read in January off my physical TBR though, because I just didn't like them. So February I put a little bit less pressure on myself and was just kind of picking up what I was interested in, and it led to not reading a ton off my physical TBR and not reading a ton off the TBR that we picked together. I also picked my February TBR pretty early. Like I still had a good bit of January left, and I basically was like, I'm gonna have this stuff done in January. So I picked multiple books on my TBR that I was picking under the condition that I had read the book before that in January, and I hadn't read that book. Like I didn't read any of those books in January, so I had to like play catch up with myself too. I did not do great on my February TBR. We're gonna try to do better this month, although I will say this month is probably going to be pretty busy for me because I am most likely going to have my baby this month. Honestly, like we're just gonna do our best. We're just gonna hope to do our best with this TBR. It's just for fun. It's not that serious. Nobody's life is gonna end if I don't finish the entire TBR. So let's get into what is on my TBR. I do have a couple of library picks that I want to quickly go through. I love going to the library. It's literally one of my favorite things ever, and they didn't have what I was specifically looking for, so I ended up just kind of like walking up and down the aisles and seeing what they did have, and I ended up bringing home 3 books with me. So the first one is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby, then we have Piglet by Lottie Hazel, and Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. I feel like I've heard pretty good things about all of these. I feel like this is like a 5-star for literally anyone that reads it. Broken Country, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that back up there. I'm so sorry. These are going up top and I don't think that you're going to be able to see them, but unfortunately that just is what it is. But I've seen really good things about all of those books. I feel like I've really been enjoying like literary fiction, and I've also just been enjoying like going to the library and like looking through books and like picking up things kind of at random. So I'm just gonna try to kind of lean into that, and if I don't do as well on my physical TBR this month, like it is what it is. And then on my digital TBR, I have a couple of things that I either have from Libby or are probably going to come up this month. So I have Loved One, Drive Me Crazy. I don't really know a lot about these books, if I'm being totally honest. Loved One, I think, is about grief, but I'm not entirely sure. Drive Me Crazy, I just think is a rom-com. Annabelle Monaghan posted about it on her Instagram, which is why I put it on my TBR. She's one of my favorite authors. An Academic Affair. I don't know what this one's about either. I know this one's on KU. If you have KU, I just feel like I've heard really positive reviews that it's just like a really good, quick and easy romance book. And then First Time Caller. This one I might wait until the audiobook is available, and I just feel like my Libby, the audiobooks, tend to have a much longer hold than the ebooks. So I don't know, I might wait for the audiobook for that one because I've heard the audiobook is really good. And then for audiobooks that I have coming up from Libby, these actually both are on my physical TBR, and that is My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Frederick Bachman, and then The Song of Achilles. Okay, you guys, and then books that I know I'm going to read this month that like I'm not going to worry about picking prompts for because they have to get read one way or another. I have two of them. The first one is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I have book club the 4th of April, so this one absolutely has to be read before the 4th of April. I could definitely see myself starting both of these books in March, but I just don't fathom ever being able to finish them in March. So this one I definitely will be reading in April. I also would really like to get to Ina May's Guide to Childbirth. I've heard great things about this book. I actually started this when I was doing my doula training and I never finished it. So I would also really like to get to that one this month as well. But I'm not going to worry about picking prompts for them because they're books I feel like are going to get prioritized either way. Just like last time, we have a couple of plain prompts, or not plain prompts, but like regular prompts, and then we have a couple of yellow prompts that are spring prompts. I didn't do any specific for April because I just like, I don't feel like there's like specific ones like there is for March. Also, this is a little mug that I thrifted that we're using for our little TBR jar, and I just think it's like the cutest thing I've literally ever seen. Shall we start? I feel a lot of pressure on myself to like pick good books that I'm going to read. That is so silly. Another book I didn't mention is I'm currently reading the Infernal Devices series, so I would love to continue that this month as well. So our first prompt is a book that starts with the letter T, B, or R. I got this prompt from a comment and I thought it was the cutest prompt, like T, B, or R. I just think that's so fun. Let's look. Okay. Oh my gosh, we actually have so many options for this. So right off the bat, I'm seeing Broken Country, which starts with a B, Razorblade Tears, which starts with an R, Redeeming Love. Let's just pull them all out. Do we not have anything that starts with a T? Oh, well, we have but I feel like, I don't know. This was a debate in my last TBR video. Are we counting like I know you do when you alphabetize them, but I feel like in terms of like the letter of the title, like you can hardly count To Kill a Kingdom starts with a T. And then my romances, which you guys can't see, I'm so sorry. Okay. The only one that matches is Better Than the Movies. So we actually have, holy crap, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to choose from. That is so many. Better Than the Movies, which starts with a B. This is just like a YA rom-com. I do want to read this in the spring. This is on my spring TBR, and I feel like this should be relatively a quick and easy read. Then we have To Kill a Kingdom. I think I'm gonna go ahead and nix this one, honestly, right off the bat, just because I just am looking at it and I don't feel in the mood for it, like even in the slightest. Then we have Black Cake, which is something like, I don't know. I have read the description for this multiple times and I've never really been able to like figure out what it's about. I think it's like sibling dynamics after their mom passes away, but I think there might be like a long lost sibling and there's like a cake. I don't know, but I probably could get the audiobook for this one, which always like puts it higher up on my list. Then Blood Orange. I bought this literally when I first got back into reading. I saw one TikTok about it and I went ahead and bought it. I think it's like a mystery thriller. This one says, Allison has it all, a doting husband, adorable daughter, and a career on the rise. She's just been given her first murder case to defend, but all is never what it seems. Just one more night, then it'll end. Allison drinks too much. She's neglecting her family. She's having an affair with a colleague whose taste for pushing boundaries may be more than she can handle. I did it. I killed him. I should be locked up. Allison's client doesn't deny that she stabbed her husband. She wants to plead guilty, and yet something about her story is deeply amiss. Saving this woman may be the first step to Allison saving herself. I'm watching you. I know what you're doing. But someone knows Allison's secret. Someone who wants to make her pay for what she's done, who won't stop until she's lost everything. That sounds really good, honestly. No wonder I bought it. Redeeming Love. I feel like there's a good chance I could probably get the audiobook from Libby, but this is a hefty book. Like, it's hefty. And I just don't think that I'm currently in the mood for it, honestly. Like, if I'm gonna be totally honest. Then we have our two library books, Razorblade Tears and Broken Country. I honestly think the ones that I'm debating between are these two and Better Than the Movies. This one I would just like really like to get off of my TBR. I feel like I've had it for such a long time. But then obviously these two, like, I don't know. Is it cheating to put library books on your TBR? I think no. I think I'm gonna go with Broken Country. This one's just been really calling to me. I think it's the cover. The cover is just so cute. Prompt number 2. They're all like sticking together. This is like another huge prompt. This has to be 2. No, this is just another really big prompt. Use a random color generator and pick a book with that color cover. That is so fun. So many ads. Oh my gosh. I thought it was gonna land on Blood Orange, and I feel like I would have had to pick Blood Orange if it did. Okay, it landed on Red. I feel like we have a decent amount of picks. I think like Redeeming Love we could count because her dress is red, and I feel like that's a good bit of the cover. Open Water might be primarily orange. It's like half and half. Then Peach Blossom Spring is like pretty red and pink. And then give me a second to like pull out these romance books because I think that there is a couple of red down here as well. Can you guys tell like I'm majorly struggling to sit on the floor with this bump? Okay, this is not a red cover by any means. I just saw the spine. And then this one is red. I feel like this one's just about as red as this one. It also depends on whether or not you count pink as red, because pink is obviously just light red. I read, oh my gosh, we should do like a number count. I read How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates in the month of March, and I loved it, and it made me think about this book. This is Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. I think she moves somewhere, or maybe she gets a new next door neighbor, and she's convinced that he's a serial killer. And then Peach Blossom Spring. I thrifted this entirely because of the cover. I just thought the cover was so pretty. It says it is 1938 in China, and Milin, a young wife, has a bright future, but when the Japanese army approaches, Milin and her 4-year-old son, Renshu, I don't know if I'm probably butchering these, are forced to flee their home. Relying on little but their wits and a beautiful illustrated hand scroll filled with ancient fables that offer solace and wisdom, they travel through a ravished country seeking refuge. Years later, Renshu has settled in America as Henry. Though his daughter Lily is desperate to understand her heritage, he refuses to talk about his childhood. How can he keep his family safe on this new land when the weight of the past threats threaten to drag him down? A moving debut novel about war, migration, and the power of telling our stories that follows 3 generations of a Chinese family on their search for a place to call home. I think we have to pick this one. This one sounds really good. I also really haven't heard many people talk about it. It is a book of the month book. It was February 22, so a much older pick. But I think I want to go with this one. We will save this one for a later time. Guys, we're halfway through already. That's crazy. Prompt number 3. We got a spring one. Fun. This one says a book with flowers on the cover. Okay, I think I'll look through my romances first because I feel like those would be most likely to have a flower on the cover. I'm gonna like specifically look at this one because I just really want to read it. That does not have a flower on the cover. I feel like none of those would have flowers on the cover. Maybe, no. Does this have a flower on the cover? It has a tree. This has a flower on the cover. It looks like we have 3 options. The Names by Florence Knapp. I really want to read this. This sounds so good. This is following multiple timelines, kind of. I think it's giving like Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Basically, the difference between the timelines is based on what the mom named her son. In their family, they always give them the dad's name, but her husband is like not a good person and she basically doesn't want to like speak that over him. So the different timelines are what their life looks like based on names. And I am very, very big on names. I love the meaning of names. I love curating names. I just think it's very fun. Also, I feel like I'm really leaning into it just like with naming a baby. So The Names, which has flowers on the cover. My Sister's Big Fat Indian Wedding. This is a YA romance, I believe. I haven't heard too much about it, but I bought it because I'm really interested in reading from this author. And then The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston also has flowers on the cover, and this is also on my spring TBR. I do feel like we have a lot of regular fiction. Like we don't have much. We don't have any romance. We don't have any fantasy. We only have fiction. So I feel like I should pick one of these, but if I let my heart take me where it wants to take me, it's gonna have to be The Names by Florence Knapp, which I'm definitely gonna want to branch out and try to pick some other genres because right now we only have lit fic, which honestly, like I do feel like I'm like very into lit fic right now. So that was our 3rd prompt. So 4th prompt, a book with a 1-word title. Lucky is a 1-word title. Fable is a 1-word title. I don't think any of my romances are. And then let's check my digital TBR if any of those are a 1-word title, and none of them are. Okay, so it looks like my options are Fable and Lucky. I know I just said that I need to take lit fic off of the TBR. However, I really don't do well with multiple fantasy series at the same time. And I know that Fable is only a duology, but I just feel like with still reading The Infernal Devices, I don't really want to pick up another start to a series. Like if it was like To Kill a Kingdom where it's a standalone, I think I would feel differently. So I think we're gonna go ahead and go with Lucky. I've actually already read like half of this. It was just one of those things where like I picked it up, read half of it in like a day, and then never picked it back up again. I don't even know if I would need to reread it though, because I feel like I remember literally every single thing that happens. And this is also coming out on Apple TV, I believe sometime this summer. So it will be nice to get off my TBR before the show comes out. So 5th prompt. This one says, a book from an author you've read before. Ooh, okay, I think I do know what I want to pick for this one. Actually, I could pick either of these. I really like to have audiobook options just because I am an audiobook girly at heart. And you guys know when I went through my digital TBR, these were the 2 audiobooks that are coming up on my Libby. And I have read Circe by Madeleine Miller. I think if I find that at a thrift store or something, I do think I'm gonna purchase it and reread it, because I think I would have much different feelings about it now than I did then. And then I also have read from Frederick Bachman before. I read Anxious People. I think I'm gonna go with My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. For whatever reason, the premise of this book really, really intrigues me. We're following Elsa, who's 7. I think she lives with her grandma maybe, and her grandma passes away and leaves behind all these letters that are basically like apologizing for things that she did in her life. Elsa, this little 7-year-old, goes out and like starts delivering them to people. The premise just sounds so fun. Also, I have a chocolate lab, so like the cover really gets me. And I feel like this isn't one that I hear people talk about that often. Like, I feel like everyone loves A Man Called Ove and Beartown and Anxious People, but I don't hear about this one that often. I also just really love like the colors in this cover. I think they're so pretty. Can you tell I'm in my fiction era? I just feel like that's what like everyone's reading right now. and it's making me only want to read fiction, which is like all we have on our TBR. Sixth and final prompt. Maybe we'll get another spring one. Okay, we didn't. We got another regular one, but that's okay. We still have 1 month of spring. Highest rated on Goodreads. All right, you guys are gonna have to give me a second. I think this will take me a bit. I have a feeling I know what it is. If I had to guess, I think it's going to be Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers, because this one I know is like very highly rated on Goodreads. So give me a second. I'm going to turn off my camera and stop recording, and we're going to try and figure out which one of these is the highest rated on Goodreads. Okay, you guys, that took me forever. I thought I would go through the top 3, and I'm not going to lie, I do feel like I cheated a little bit, but this is my video and I make the rules. So I'm not going to count it as cheating. Coming in at third is As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow with 4.45. And then coming in at second is Redeeming Love with 4.51. This is where I'm saying, did I cheat? Did I not cheat? I really did not want to read Redeeming Love this month. I just don't think if I put it on my TBR, I would read it. So like, what's the point of putting it on there? So I was like, okay, well, I still need to read Clockwork Princess, which is the final book in the Infernal Devices. Should I go ahead and see if that one's rated higher? And it is, with a 4.55, which is an insane rating, honestly. So is the one for, I mean, they're all insane ratings. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and pick that. I do feel like I'm cheating just a teeny tiny bit, because I feel like I should have picked it off my physical TBR, but I would rather put something on there that I actually think I'm gonna get to this month than put, like, I just know I will not pick that book up. So let's do a little recap of the 6/8 books on my TBR for the month. So we have our nonfiction for the month, which is Ina May's Guide to Childbirth. My book club pick for the month, which is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. A book that starts with the letters T, B, or R, and we picked Broken Country. Use a random color generator and pick a book with the color of that, with the color cover of that color. We got red, and we picked Peach Blossom Spring. A book with flowers on the cover, we picked The Names. A book with a one-word title, we picked Lucky. A book from an author you've read before, and we picked My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. And then for our 6th and final pick, we got Pick the Highest Rated on Goodreads, and we picked Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. So that is my TBR for April. We will see how we do. Let me know in the comments what's on your radar for April. If you have read any of these books and loved them, please let me know, because that always like gives me the push I need to get started with a book. I feel like we honestly have a phenomenal TBR. It is very fiction heavy, as you can see. Literally, I think they're all considered either general fiction or literary fiction. Lucky might be something random, like a thrill, like something, I feel like that has like a random genre attached to it. And then we have one fantasy. Very lit, fic heavy month. I think we're gonna have fun. I feel like that's what I'm in the mood for. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was so much fun. I literally have so much fun filming these. I just want to keep picking prompts. Like, I can't help it. It's literally too much fun. I will see you guys in my next video. It will probably be my March wrap up. So if you're curious on what I read in March, stay tuned for that and make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you then. Bye, you guys.